but it is putting people to work. So there.
You know, I always go back to, you know, what is the problem that light rail is intending to solve? In other words, if it's taxpayers that ultimately are paying for this line, was there a great groundswell of the taxpayers who said, we really need this light rail? And if there was, where did they go between the time that they demanded this of our government and the time that it became available to ride?
Well, I'm still trying to meet those people. I don't know where those people are.
No.
Yeah,
I think we all know that this was decided upon and put together by study groups with not too many citizens involved in it, and then they got the citizens' input after the plans like this are already 5 or 10 years down the road, down the track, so to speak, and it's kind of hard to get rid of those tracks after they've been laid.
Right, and the other thing to point out too is a lot of these groups that and government agencies that are pushing this are not things that are directly held accountable to by the people.
Right.
I mean, you have the Met Council, which is Minnesota's version of communism, where you appoint central planners, and then they have their little tentacles everywhere. You have the County Transit Improvement Board. You have groups like the Botno Partnership. You have railroad authorities, which are basically the county commissioners under different names. And you have MnDOT, and you have all of these people who are, or agencies or arms of government putting money into something. So how can a citizen hold someone accountable for that when there's, you know, so much being put into the pot?
Yes, it's not transparent at all as to, and I think that's on purpose that they do that. They create these organizations, these other governmental agencies.
Minnesota's shadow government.
Yeah, it really is, because you can't follow it. Even on their websites, they don't have some of the meetings, some of the budgets you can't find. So the transparency is not there. And the numbers, from my standpoint, I don't believe a word they say, because they've never been right.
Okay, Andrew, you mentioned a number of names, like Hennepin County Regional Railroad Authority. Can we talk and help inform listeners, as viewers, just what is the Hennepin County Regional Railroad Authority? Let's start
there. It's a separate bucket of money, as I like to call it, that Hennepin County, under state statute, can do this. And Anoka County has it, Sherburne County has it, they all have it.
So they've each got their own railroad authority?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is a separate levy, too. It's Hennepin County actually has several tax levies. They have the one big one, which they talk about all the time, which is a very small 1.6 billion here in Hennepin County, you know, because they have health and human, I mean, they have everything under that. But this money is not under that budget.
Right.
Okay, so you've got the Hennepin County Board, and then you've got a separate unit called the Hennepin County Regional Railroad Authority. Who's on the Hennepin County Regional Railroad Authority?
Well, pretty similar people who are on the commissioners, aren't they?
I think they're identical. Yeah. They're all 7 commissioners.
So what do you want to bet? How many times do you think what the regional railroad authorities wanted to do, the Hennepin County commissioners wanted to do?
What they do from reading their website is once they're done with the Hennepin County Board, they move to the Hennepin County Regional Railroad Authority agenda. No, they move it to, I don't even know if it's in the same room, but they at least, I don't know, maybe they move it to a different room.
It's like
so the commissioners get up and maybe move to a separate table and say,
they've
got a different chair, too.
Yep, they have a different chair. So,
right. McLaughlin is the chair of that.
Yeah, so Peter McLaughlin
same
becomes,
people.
he gavels the meeting to order, but it's the same people
that
run the Hennepin County government.
And Ron, you're the numbers guy. Their budget's increased a little bit, hasn't it?
According to their website. Now, I hope everybody's sitting down, because this one is going to floor you. In 2010, it was almost $27 million. 2011, it's $62 million. That's over $35 million. That's about a 120% increase.
120% increase.
Did your salary go up by that to cover it?
I was about 118. I was a little short of that.
Yeah, and that was in 1 year. And I didn't be able to get to the budget after I picked myself off the floor looking at it because I thought I had my numbers wrong.
You didn't want to look past that. Yeah.
No. And that's to buy up lots of property and land to do all this stuff. So they're doing this ahead of so that they have everything in place when they vote to actually put the switch to put the first track down.
And we see this in cities with economic development authorities, which we've talked about before. It's another separate bucket of money. And that's how Hennepin County can say, well, our operating budget didn't go up. Yeah, you just took the money and you put it somewhere else.
Right.
So it's not going
siphoning
down.
it.
Right. It's they keep putting.
It's like a shell game.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Where is the P that represents our taxpayer dollars? Well, they cut the P up and put it up into different shells.
Yeah, they peed in a bunch of places.
Okay.
No, so this is becoming, and again, this is only one county. I'm sure the other counties are set up the same way. And then they bring these together, and that's where North Star brought together the Sherburne, the Anoka, and the Hennepin County regional railroad authorities to build that with state money and federal money.
In fact, that just North Star alone, just to have an idea of how many parts of government had their hands in North Star. Federal government, state government, Anoka County, Sherburne County, Hennepin County, the Met Council, and the Minnesota Twins also. So all of them...
That's that private partnership they always talk about.
All of them
Minnesota Twins.
had money into this one rail line. And here's the question, too. If this rail line continues to fail, like a business would continue to fail, are they ever going to shut their doors?
Well, they've got revenue coming in whether or not anybody rides it.
That's right.
True. So that's another scary thing.
Yeah. So these entities last in perpetuity because they've got their own funding streams.
Well, and I'll tell you, one of the little-known things, I mentioned the County Transit Improvement Board. That's another a pseudo-government group made up of elected officials, mostly, from the counties, 5 of the 7 counties in the metro area. It was a little-known part of, you might remember, the gas tax increase in 2008. That was vetoed by Governor Palente, and it was passed over his veto. One of the little-known parts of that bill was that part of that gas tax money, 0.25%, I think, Ron, gets siphoned off into this County Transit Improvement Board, and they have a budget, get this, of $100 million and bonding authority. So, Ron, I mean, you go to their website, mnrides.org, you can't find a budget. You can't find any record of who's spending the money, who's deciding it. They have their meetings at 8:30 in the morning on Wednesdays. I mean, it's just another way
very
to
transparent.
It's another way to make sure that you can't stop what they're doing.
No, it's I don't know where their budget is. I'm sure it's somewhere buried, but it's not easy to get to even with our technology that we have.
So okay. To help me understand this, you got the Hennepin County Board running all of Hennepin County. Then you've got the Hennepin County Regional Railroad Authority, which is the same commissioners, but then you've got a whole separate entity established by the state that is the County Transit Improvement Board that has its own taxing authority and bonding authority, which means they can borrow money against future taxes.
They can deficit spend is another way to look at it.
They can deficit spend. And this is another organization that, since it has its own income streams, revenue streams, not income, revenue streams, can continue on forever and ever and ever.